Hi, Seth David here from the world famous Nerd Enterprises Incorporated. And I want to talk about success today because success is reserved for a special group of people. I know we all like to think that, anybody can be successful, but it's not true. Success is reserved for a special group of people. And think about it. Do you ever think about success and think, oh, I'm just not the sort of person who can really be successful? I used to think like that. I'm a living example of someone who thought things like, oh, I never win at anything, or I never got chosen for the to play on the winning team when we were dividing up people to play sports when we were kids. I'd never be one of the popular kids. Phrases like that are phrases that went through my head often throughout my life, especially, of course, as a kid. And when I look at people and I look online at all the material that's being put out there, I see people who don't appear to be all that successful, claiming to be able to tell you how to be successful, which is kind of a joke. But the reality is, all of this, when we look at it, the sum total, the big picture, it begs the question, what makes a person successful? When I look at a person that I regard as successful, I find myself asking, what is it about that person that makes them so successful? And I think what it comes down to is we're all looking for that formula. Maybe it has to do with their appearance. Maybe it has to do with their attitude about things. Maybe they're a born salesman. That's been said. I've had somebody refer to me as the quintessential salesman not too long ago. I think all those things might be contributing factors. I think certainly, as much as we don't like to admit it, appearance has a lot to do with it because frankly of how most people view things. If they see somebody who has a successful appearance, they're going to be led to believe that that person is successful, which is going to be it's going to attract them to you. So if you dress well, if you look good, if you stay in shape, people are going to be attracted to that. That's just a fact of life, and that in itself will help a person become more successful. But I don't think that's the whole key. I think there's one thing that is the real key to being successful, that even without that stuff, even if I have a lousy appearance, even if I'm not well spoken, not well educated, there's one thing that I can have which will make me successful no matter what. And it's often said we're our own worst critics. And what I think I see more than anything is that everyone's looking for, and many people are out there trying to sell that formula. If you do X, Y, and Z, then you'll become a mega success. And no one can sell you a formula to become a success. Stop looking for the formula. It's not there. Search fearlessly within yourself and find your passion. That's the real key. As I mentioned, I look at people and think, what makes them successful? The tendency is to look on the surface, like I said. How do they dress? What's their appearance? What kind of personality do they have? We think of the quintessential salesperson as the person who has what it takes to succeed. That's why I almost took it as a compliment when I heard that, even though I don't think it was meant that way, I took it as a compliment when somebody called me a quintessential salesperson. Truth is, none of these things have anything to do with it. They're just labels that we put on successful people, and frankly, I think on some level we use them as excuses for why we can't succeed, because we don't have that. We don't have the fancy car or the nice clothes because we can't afford it yet, because we haven't become successful yet. And that's what we do to ourselves. We play this game with ourselves, and our mind lets us do this. We have fault-finding minds that tell us we're no good, we're not good enough, we're never going to succeed. And it's believing that lie when I tell it to myself in my own mind, in my own voice. So it makes me tend to want to believe it. That's what blocks me specifically from success. It's much easier to simply say, oh, that'll never be me, than if I did achieve success, there's all the pressure to keep it up. And this is a lie. It's a lie, because if you've ever been successful at anything, even on a small level, then you've experienced that once you get there, it actually becomes easier and easier to keep it up, because you build that momentum. It's like riding a wave, only these kinds of waves tend to not crash at the end, as long as you keep doing what you're doing and keep things fresh and keep, and when we talk in terms of this day and age and what we're doing on the web, as long as you keep delivering good quality content that people are interested in, and frankly, stuff that really helps people, not BS, but something that's really valuable and helpful to people, then you'll keep it going. It'll become easier and easier, because the more people that come into your world, the more people there are inviting people into your world, and you'll lose some and you'll gain some, and there are going to be people that come in there and talk trash about you. And I recently read a post from Tim Ferriss, who talks about you almost have to believe that the more people there are saying bad things about you, the more successful you're becoming, because it means you're getting under people's skin, because they're either jealous that you're successful, or they're wishing that they could be doing what you're doing, or any number of reasons that you can think of why somebody would tear someone else down instead of trying to promote what they like. So what's the common trait that all successful people have? What group of people is success reserved for? The answer is the passionate. That's all. That's what all these people have in common. I'm not just talking about liking something or really enjoying what I do. I'm talking about wanting something so badly that you're willing to give up everything for it. You give up the kinds of things that other so-called regular people enjoy. Your social life, vacations, all kinds of other things that regular people enjoy. You have to be willing to give up, at least for a time, in order to become super successful at one thing. So, I realize that I do have a social life, though, even though I say I've given those things up. It's just that my social life is a little different. I meet people for lunch, dinner, or coffee, and usually they're other people who own businesses. So our conversation is maybe not about the latest movie or the latest fashion trend or the latest bit of pop culture that's popular to talk about. Instead, it's about what makes your business successful. It's just a different kind of social life with a different kind of dialogue, and frankly, I prefer it. I think it's at a higher level than worrying about the latest bit of pop culture that's out there. I think, let's put it this way, when I say higher level, let me qualify that. It's I think it's more conducive to enriching my own life than to talk about what we've done to improve our own lives, rather than talk about how successful somebody else is. So the conversation, again, may not be about the latest movie or what book we're reading. Then again, we maybe talk about books, but again, not the same kind of books. The fact is we all work 7 days a week and we don't take vacations. We talk about, how it really isn't work to us because we love what we're doing so much that it's not work. I think of work as going to a 9-to-5 job and can't wait till Friday, to get off from work and then relax and enjoy myself from Friday to Sunday night, and then by Sunday night I'm dreading it because I have to go back to work on Monday. I don't look at things that way, and I don't know that any of the other people who I talk to who have their own businesses and are doing what they really love to do, I don't think any of them look at it that way either. I almost get excited, not almost, I do get excited on Sunday nights to go to work. So these days, whether you want to run your own business or work in the corporate world, it's still about the same thing in the long run. Your online presence. The employee may only experience it, when moving from one job to another. But more and more I'm hearing how the new entrepreneur is the unemployed. Why be dependent on someone else for your living? The illusion that working for a company guarantees you a paycheck it's just that. It's an illusion. How many people do you know that in the last 10 years have been laid off from long-term positions? As an accountant, I can tell you that labor is always the largest expense in any company, and that's the first place they look to cut back when the economy goes south. So I've yet to hear of a CEO of a major company say that he or she is going to cut back on executive salaries before laying people off. Imagine that. Maybe a CEO can sell a vacation home or two and cut back on their own salary to preserve the assets of the company they supposedly love, instead of laying off people. It may have happened, but I've not heard of one such case. So if you have, please post a comment and tell me about it. It would be refreshing to hear about. So you still really believe that your paycheck is guaranteed just because it comes from a company? Search fearlessly within yourself and find out what it is that you're willing to give up everything for. Then start writing about it. My passions are about helping people who have their own businesses better understand the financial part of the business so they can use that information to continue building their empire. I have some others. I love to write, I love to record videos, and video tutorials, as you've probably seen. The video tutorials, as again you've probably seen, are focused on teaching people the above, as well as anything else that will help a person and or a company run more efficiently. More efficiently, of course, means more profitably. So I've also become passionate about helping others to create and build their online presence. It has taken me a little more than a year and a half to create what I've created, which is something that generates interest and a response. I still don't get the response I want. I don't have as many people as I'd like to see commenting on my content or asking me questions, but that's where the other key principle comes in: patience. That can be really hard for me at times, believe me, but I always come back to it in order to keep pressing on. So tell me something. What are you passionate about? Post your video responses on YouTube and post your comments wherever I have this posted. I'll have it up in several places on the web, and I hope you are having an absolutely fantastic day. We'll see you on the web.